St. John Bosco made at least 100 prophecies that were fulfilled. The Franco-Prussian War, World War I, the future of his Salesian missions in South America, and the future of countless people, including the year of their death. But being a true visionary himself, who saw Our Lady frequently, he knew a false prophet when he saw one. Don Bosco was always ready to challenge these liars. As it says in the Gospel of Matthew, "Beware of false prophets, who come to you in the clothing of sheep, but inwardly they are ravening wolves." Shockingly, on this occasion, it was a nun who had entered his Salesian convent, the Daughters of Mary Help of Christians, who had just started. I invite you to listen to this story so that you too can recognize the characteristics of false visionaries whenever you encounter them. The Miracles and Prophecies of St. John Bosco, a project of America Needs Fatima. I'm your host, Matthew Miller. Subscribe for new episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. For several months in 1876, a series of extraordinary phenomena disturbed the peace of the convent at Mornez. A rather strange postulant, Agostina Simbani, who had come from Rome and was said to be the daughter of a Siberian political exile, was recommended to the sisters by a very influential person. She boasted of her personal acquaintance with prelates and stated that she had even drunk coffee from the Pope's own cup. She was soft-spoken and pleasant, with a slender figure and blonde hair. Though not overly pretty, she charmed everybody. Seemingly intelligent and healthy, she was loved by all the sisters, and several believed her to be a saint. Even Father Castamagna, the director, credited her with supernatural charisms. However, the Mother Superior, Saint Maria Mazzarello, astutely observed and kept silence, for her inborn common sense and spiritual insight made her wary. Her misgivings were confirmed by Monsignor Bonelli, who felt uneasy with some of the young woman's ways. When he was told of Father Castamagna's favorable opinion, he answered, "He still lacks the experience of age, but then, too, he has always lived in a saintly environment." The sisters' archives contain a long report by the Salesian priest then teaching in Mornez's public school, Father Michael Facio, about her most extraordinary claims and demonstrations of apparent sanctity. Agostina appeared to guess people's innermost secrets of conscience, knew what had happened in far-off places, often seemed wrapped in ecstasy, and levitating, sang like an angel in Italian and French. Struck by a mysterious illness and hovering on the very verge of death, she recovered instantaneously. According to her, a little girl whom she called "my daughter" would appear to her and reveal all manners of secrets. Finally, she foretold that great upheavals would take place in Rome within the year on account of a war that inevitably would break out. When word of the prediction reached the oratory, it stirred indescribable excitement. The visionary herself even wrote to Don Bosco, offering as proof that within 3 days she herself, then in perfect health, would suddenly die, and she asked Don Bosco to assist her in her last moments. But before we hear how Don Bosco handled this strange situation, if you're in need of spiritual help, you can enroll in our Saturday Mass intentions for the promoters of St. John Bosco by clicking on the link in the description below or on the Mass logo at the end of the video. These episodes are free of filthy YouTube ads, but I can't keep them coming without your help. So please consider becoming a promoter of St. John Bosco so that I can continue to spread his message around the world. The entire community was highly perturbed at this, but Don Bosco did nothing. When Father Castamagna asked whether he should assist her at death, he replied that he was to do nothing. 3 days passed, but Agostina didn't die. She said that the reason was because Don Bosco failed to come to her when she had important messages for him. She therefore insisted on being taken to Don Bosco without delay. She was so persistent that she was escorted to Borgo San Martino, where Don Bosco was then staying. Without wasting words, he told her in the presence of many bystanders, "It's hard to believe that a young woman like you could harbor so much malice and pride. Go. God never reveals himself to one as disobedient as you." Then he turned to those who had brought her. "Take her home," he ordered, and don't let her ever come to see me or go to any of our houses." Agostina wanted to explain, apologize, and make new predictions, but Don Bosco flatly refused to listen. Then she asked for money to go to Rome and see the Pope. When she obstinately kept asking, Don Bosco ordered that she be given a railway ticket, but no cash. Hearing this, Agostina stubbornly refused to go, and she had to be taken away by force. She was given a ticket to Rome, but on reaching Sempiarderna, she managed to return to Mornez, left again, and then came back, until at last she left for good, and no further word was heard of her. Was this all a devilish plot or a trick to ruin the convent of the Daughters of Mary Help of Christians? There was certainly the danger of mass hysteria and imagined hallucinations, which could have caused irreparable damage. Despite a few moments of hesitation, Saint Maria Mazzarello showed an overall healthy insight, and Saint John Bosco ended the matter by resolute action. Speaking of such cases, Don Bosco used to say, "One must be careful. There are really clever impostors whose many tricks and ruses can deceive the most prudent person. One would think that the devil has taken possession of them himself and taught them all his tricks. Their cunning is matchless. If they find themselves cornered on one side, they retort with 1,000 ready-made excuses to make them look even holier. If they're caught in a lie, they manage to wriggle out of it and appear to be the most truthful people in the world. Learned persons, even priests, can't find an effective weapon against them. One can rely on experience, which shows us that impostors have always existed and still exist, and that there is no mischief, no trick which they will not practice once they have forsaken God and abandoned themselves to the devil. Hence, when such persons arise and show themselves to be proud or unruly or untruthful, no trust must be placed in them, nor are they to be given attention, even if they perform miracles. There is no deception which we should not reasonably expect from them. As all these things were going on, Our Lady gave undoubted proof of her motherly protection over her Salesian daughters. On the first day of the Triduum of Mary Help of Christians, Sister Teresa Laurentoni, who had been ill for a long time, was attending church services in a wheelchair near the chapel door. Sister Agnes Ricci stood beside her. When the Blessed Sacrament was exposed, Sister Teresa was thrown into spasms, and blood flushed to her face. Frightened, Sister Agnes called Mother Mazzarello, who, facing Sister Teresa, said to her firmly, "Get up, go upstairs, and put on your habit." Unassisted, Sister Teresa rose to her feet and went out of the chapel. When she returned a few minutes later, she was as spry and joyful as ever. Undoubtedly, this miracle could be applied to the prayers of Saint Maria Mazzarello. One is reminded of this verse in the Gospel of John. Jesus saith to him, "Arise, take up thy bed and walk." And immediately the man was made whole, and he took up his bed and walked. Thank you all so much for watching, and if you'd like to enroll, just click on this logo. God bless you, and Our Lady keep you.